So, hello everyone. My name is Andres Diaz. Today we have a special Marvel uh, Plus talk, and today my good host Will is here. Hello, Will.
Hey Andres, how you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. So, folks, while we wait for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier to come out on Friday, of course, today we'll take a moment and discuss a movie that me and Will had kind of cheesed a little bit, and today we're discussing Thor: The Dark World. So, so Will, um, yeah, this movie. uh,
Yeah.
I think,
um,
yeah, yeah.
mhm.
This is, well, I mean, you think it's the worst MCU film?
um, I mean, I've been saying that for a while. I've always said it's aggressively okay.
Hmm.
Um, but watching it today, I actually enjoy. Like, it's still not great, but I enjoyed it more than I was expecting to.
Hmm. I see.
Yeah, I
Um.
had forgotten how much I enjoyed certain elements of it.
Oh yeah. Uh. I mean, the moments with Loki and Thor are really good. Still, I mean, that relationship is still the best part about the Thor franchise.
Yeah.
And what else? I mean, the production values of this film is much better than the first film.
Hmm.
Um, it's a little more like it feels real compared to the first one. Like
Yeah.
you know, the first film felt more TV like, and here it felt like an actual film movie. It felt more like Game of Thrones. Uh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course, the director worked on Game of Thrones.
Yes, of course. I don't have to say it like Game of. I'm sorry for the Game of Thrones pun, or like yeah, it's obvious, And Alan Taylor, the director of this film. Well, actually, let's kind of start from there. Like, were you surprised that Kenneth Branagh didn't return? Um, when this movie was in process.
Um, I suppose. I mean, I was a little surprised that Kenneth Branagh directed the first one, just because I
Yes.
mainly know him from his Shakespeare adaptations. So it was a bit weird to see him doing a superhero movie.
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm used to him doing like Shakespeare or his Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh,
Um,
that's a good one.
yeah, um, but I mean, I'm a fan of his, so I was a little disappointed that he didn't come back for Thor 2. Um,
Mm.
And I was also disappointed. I remember when I was like following the production of this movie back in, oh man, almost 10 years ago, uh, when Patty Jenkins was supposed to direct it and dropped out.
Yes. Yeah, that's another one that now we know, and it's like wow, especially after Wonder Woman, the 2017 film came out.
Yeah.
It's like, man, like so yeah, like especially I think Jenkins, if she was like still like the director of this film, I think the Thor and Jane relationship could have been much better, you know.
Yeah, if it was anything like Steve and Diana in the first Wonder Woman movie,
Yeah,
even the second, their chemistry was still really good, even
yeah.
if the movie itself
I
wasn't.
mean, I don't want to too much about Wonder Woman
Yeah, I don't want to
1984.
derail,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, for me, I liked 84, and I think the Deanne and Steve Trevor stuff were the best thing about the film, and
I will agree that that was the best part of the
yeah,
film.
exactly. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, that was the other thing. It was Penny Jenkins. Like I'm happy that at least the Marvel Studios are hiring the female directors,
Hmm.
on non-female films, which I like.
Yeah,
I'm
looking
happy.
forward to
Yeah,
the Eternals.
yeah. The Eternals, Chloe Zhao. Of course,
Yeah,
congrats for her for being nominated for the Oscars now for Best
yeah.
Director, which I'm happy about. Um, and then we got uh, who else we got? Um, I think that's it. Because I, I mean, yeah, I agreed. I was very disappointed after finding out the fact that she was considered for Thor 2. Um, but I guess then after, of course, Jenkins and Marvel Studios kind of just, create a difference, of course. Then we got to Alan Taylor. What do you think about him as a director for this film specifically? Um, like,
I mean, it's okay.
yeah,
Like it felt very
like,
like just like a standard Marvel movie.
yeah,
Like I know
yeah,
it was around this time that people were starting to complain that the MCU just felt like a TV show, um,
yes, um,
and bringing in someone from TV to do a very like color by numbers Marvel movie was
mm,
you could feel it.
you can feel it. Yeah, uh, like for me, it's just Anna Taylor. Just I feel like he wasn't like he constantly made a good looking Thor film,
Yeah,
but like he didn't like he wasn't like the Russo brothers. Like when we, of
right.
course, our next discussion will be with the soldier, and like the Russo brothers just were they nail everything about what made a sequel great. Like
Yeah,
they just
and
characters
they
that
still yeah,
yeah,
and they brought their own like look to it as well.
exactly, yeah, like like for me when you're in safe hands, like from a film is that you can see the personality of the director sticking into these films,
Mhm.
and sometimes it'll be good, like Christopher Nolan or like the Russo brothers or James Gunn for Guardians, you know
Right,
it,
especially James Gunn. Yeah,
exactly. And then the worst could be like Tim Burton for Batman Returns, and that's maybe going a little too far, like not being the character's film. But with this film, it's like I I don't see Taylor's like gravitas or like his personality or like his style is sinking into this Thor film. It feels like another Thor film and just lack of personality really.
yeah.
Um, and I mean, I don't know, like, let's kind of get into a little bit, but there were some sources and confirmed ones from a podcast I heard and stuff like that. There were major reshoots for this film,
Mm.
and apparently it was for Loki, and like this film was supposed to be the last one for Loki. Like he was supposed to
He was
die.
supposed to actually die in that scene.
Yes, and of course, I mean, I I'm kind of happy about that, but because like Thor was like Loki is the most popular character, and I think they like took that for granted, and so like like, as you see this film, you saw this like very quick shot, um, whatever planet they're in, um, that Loki died from there. You
Yeah,
saw,
Svartalfheim.
thank you,
Yeah,
Will, and and it's like they indicate that okay, Loki might be surviving. Of course, at the end of the film, you see Loki, alive and taking over the throne, and like so like there were just like a lot of major, uh changes they had to do to to satisfy the fans. I mean, it could have been daring to kill off Loki, but
yeah,
I I just I mean, the thing is, I'm kind of glad they didn't because he's the best thing about this film. You know.
yeah. And I just love Loki. Um,
Yes.
he's a great character. So I'm glad he stuck around and we got to see him like in all the other movies.
Mm.
Um,
And the show coming out soon.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think they
Yeah.
pushed it back to June
Yeah.
recently. But
Yeah. I mean, well, it's worth the wait because I mean, like, you know, well, before we ever got like a villain centric film like Suicide Squad and then, most recently Joker, right?
yeah,
A lot of people like I mean, they thought a Loki film could work. and
Yeah.
and this, I mean, a lot of people don't call this like Thor. Like we're jokingly called Loki the Dark World because it's essentially a Loki film. You know, I don't want to not to discredit it. It's a Thor film, but like it's just there's a much more clear character development for Loki in this film, where
Yeah.
compared to Thor, Thor is like so stagnated, which is fine. But like it worked well with Captain America and the Winter Soldier, but like here it just I there's no development. It's
Hmm.
just he's just there, like he's just moving along with the plot, you know, and this and it's not good, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and again, Tom Hiddleston is great, and I do miss his short hair. I don't know if you have this like weird thing, like I don't like his long hair. Um, it's fine here, but I mean it gets a little crazy with Ragnar, but you know,
Yeah.
but anyway. Um, but then I want to bring up one like a major issue that this film has. This film was too dependent on Loki, and this is one of the reasons that these first two Thor films were just really just they, they didn't have a strong just commitment to focus on Thor as a character. That's why Thor Ragnarok is so good because they didn't
Right.
depend on too much on Loki. Um, what do you want to say about that?
No, I agree. Yeah. Thor, especially in this one, doesn't feel like he gets to like grow that much. He doesn't really go through that much.
No.
Um,
Um, yeah, he's just
yeah.
like serious, and it's um, like, oh, Jane, I miss
Yep.
you, and I mean, not that way, but like just he just
Yeah.
puddles
It's
around, you
yeah.
know.
He's just kind of like he spends the first part of the movie wishing he could see Jane, and then the second part of the movie being around Jane.
Yeah, yeah, uh, yeah, and then um, yeah, I guess let's kind of get into like the supporting characters, and I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of the supporting characters gets underdeveloped or just barely lose. I mean, in this film,
Yeah.
you want to go with the Oscar or the human characters first? What you want to do? Um,
Let's do the humans first.
yes, let's do that. Um, I look, I don't blame Natalie Portman at all. She's a great actress, and I
Yeah,
think I did enjoy her in the first Thor. I do like the first Thor film, and
I do too.
yeah, I don't have a problem with them in that first one. I think Branagh brought some chemistry between them. But this film is like it, it seemed like the writing and of course I know Jenkins was disappointed that I say well Portman was disappointed that Jenkins left, and I
Yeah,
totally sympathize her, and like I don't know how much rewrite and just reshoots. It seemed like the Romans got kind of sidelined, and like it's just kind of there. You
yeah.
know.
It just feels really awkward every time they try to like force it in.
Mm, yes.
Yeah, it
Um.
feels like there's this entire side plot of Thor having to choose between like his romance on Earth and like a potential romance on Asgard that would like make more sense for him. Because they keep like hinting at like Sif being a love interest, and it feels like that just
Yeah.
doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
Um,
I. I mean, and I like Sif. I mean, this is the
yeah, I
film that
love Sif.
I love Jimmy and Sandra and her portrayal of Sif, and I love the episode Yes Men from
Hmm.
Agents of Steel in the first season, and it was a great episode. I really liked that one.
Yeah,
Um, and I thought that should have been the Thor tie-in episode, not the other one.
yeah,
That
yeah,
yeah, and just in my opinion, I thought
with the weird
just
stuff.
yeah, um, and but like that moment when I saw Sif talking to Thor and when he was like telling him in the story, I was like I realized in my mind I was like, oh no, she's a better love interest than Jane.
Yeah,
Like it, I
yeah.
and I. and her character too got she got like an injury in the set of the
Yeah.
actress, and
Hmm.
her character scenes got kind of cut off, and so like again, just we're suffering a lot of character development, and so
Hmm. Yeah,
but
and I
yeah,
was sad to see that she wasn't in Ragnarok, but she is going to be in Love and Thunder. So
yes. Well, I'm kind of
hopefully,
glad. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I, I, I mean, I'm kind of glad she wasn't there because I didn't want her to die
Right,
either.
they did kill all the other characters that came back. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I'm glad for that too.
Yeah, so yeah,
She was
I'm
spared.
agree. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm happy she's coming back. So, which
yeah,
is good. And I mean, and interesting, Jane is coming back as well.
yeah.
You know, I like the longest time since this film. Like it was like,
Yeah, it's 2013, so
yeah,
almost 10 years.
yeah. Oh my God, 10 years since she was introduced, and she's coming back. um, I mean, and also, well, I mean, speaking of the other human characters, we got Dorsey. And
Hmm.
what do you think about her in this film? I, I
I
mean,
just I don't really understand like
the
why she's in this movie. I especially don't understand the intern,
inter
like her
joke.
intern. Why is he in this movie?
I, I
Oh
think it's a
man.
fell joke of the
Yeah,
Marvel Studios. You know, and I mean,
yeah, but then it's like
I mean,
it's a
I,
joke that lasts the whole movie.
I know. I mean, I do get a kick of the other intern screaming like a girl when the dark elf jumps like to that car towards the finale. That was pretty. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I she's like an intern. Like, I mean, Dorsey, like she's interning with Jane and Savick, and of course, I don't like the way they use Savick in this film.
oh, I don't at all.
I, 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 I don't think running naked in the rocks
Yeah,
it's like, and that's the thing about the potential of this film. Like, there was so much potential they couldn't gone, and they just don't take it. And like,
yeah,
and Savick is one of those. Like for me, because like it could have been an interesting psychological like development. We can see like what happened to him when he was controlled from Loki in the
right.
Avengers, right? And it
Yeah.
could have been similar parallels to Tony in Iron Man 3,
Hmm.
right? And these were both films in the same year. And it'd be kind of interesting that both films were tackling psychological topics of PST, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, again, the human characters just show, like, for me, like folks, like before, well, like this was a year before Guardians, like the next year, 2014, before Guardians came out. We
Hmm.
still didn't have like a cosmic like it was still a little wary of doing weirder and fantasy slash cosmic films,
Right.
and these films couldn't take that advantage, but they didn't, and just having the human characters in the earth like that just holds back Thor completely, and like
Yeah.
and just I just like you think after the Avengers, I thought after the Avengers like we could have got like more comic booky, like comic accurate villains and like universe, right?
Right.
Um, which that like like I don't know. Well, you remember the line with Bane about in Dark Knight Rises about how he was going to take the hope from Gotham and and destroy it by just creating this like false hope in his regime, right?
Hmm.
That happened to me with these two films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase Two. I can't believe that I had like a fake. I was a big Iron Man fan, and I was so disappointed with how the Mandarin was in Iron Man 3. And then this film, I was like, okay, you're just, of course, and in reality, they were just like Phase 2 was just them trying to, you know, what what they're gonna do after the Avengers. And like Iron Man 3, it was like a very cool and experimental film. And then, but it didn't please the fans, right? And then you got this film that had a lot of problems in behind the scenes, and it
Yeah.
didn't deliver. And so, um, but this film just showed a lot of the cracks of the MCU and this formula. And like as you mentioned before, like it felt too much TV, and I mean, before this was right after when Agent of Shield was premiere in September, right? People felt
Right.
it became too much like a television like series, kind of episodic, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that Marvel has to be careful with, right? Because then you're going to lose your audience. Like it was kind of almost there during this time period, with this Age of Ultron. It was like good, but at least we got more consistent hit after phase three,
Hmm.
good. Um, and then I guess we can get into like the Asgard characters. What do you think about them? I mean,
Yeah.
I
Um,
it's like
I thought they were again like underutilized.
oh yeah,
But I did love seeing Zachary Levi as um, Fandral or Fandral.
oh
Um,
yeah, he's in this movie.
yeah, right. That's what I said when I was
I
watching it. Because I know he was like originally cast in the first Thor movie for
yes,
that role, and then there was a scheduling conflict, so he had to leave. And then they brought him back for this one, and then they brought back the guy from the first movie
yeah.
for Ragnarok to get killed off.
Oh my god,
But I really liked seeing him in this.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, it was.
It was just yeah. I totally forgot he's in this. Yeah. Um, I mean, he looked very Errol Flynn like,
Yeah,
and I
he just reminded me of Flynn Rider,
yeah.
because he's the voice of Flynn Rider from Tiggle.
Oh,
But
oh, okay, that's cool. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, if he didn't play Shazam, I think he could have been a good Oliver Queen in a Green Arrow film.
ooh, yeah,
I was thinking about because he had like the blonde like
right.
hair
The blonde wig looked very fake, but the facial hair
yeah,
was good. Yeah.
yeah. Um, oh my God, yeah. And I'm speaking of other characters. I love Ray Stevenson. He's like he's great as what's his character's name? Velstag.
Volstagg, yeah.
Yeah, and he's the perfect image of that. And I was a little sad he did die in Thor Ragnarok. I kind of wish
Yeah.
and um the actor that played Fandel in the first film was Joshua uh
Dallas.
Dallas, and of course his commitment Once Upon a Time, the show on ABC was the reason why he couldn't come back for the second film. Yeah, and then a quick thing because it just shows how badly they use these characters. Do you know the third member of the Warriors Three?
Hogan?
Yeah, Hogan. It, it's it's kind of funny. We have that opening of Sif, and then the Asgard Warriors fighting um uh these rock monsters, and like it was
Hmm.
his home planet, and his home planet is so weird to pronounce I mean,
Anaheim?
yeah, Vanaheim. It's not. It's hard for people that have a hard time pronouncing these words, but you're nailed it to
Well,
the
I
T.
really like Norse mythology,
Oh yes.
so
Oh, I did we had that discussion, Will?
I think
Okay.
we've talked about it before, yeah.
Yeah, I. Oh God. Well, thinking this year a Norse mythology, because when we get to Thor Ragnarok, I want to mention how much I love the joke about how Loki tricked Thor with the snake thing,
Hmm.
and that's how he actually got the real Thor got killed in that way. The snake killing him. That's
Hmm.
such a funny joke. I just love that joke. Anyway, um, yeah, I'm disappointed they didn't use Hongan, that member, and
Hogan,
like
yeah.
he was just there for the opening. That's it. And uh,
Yeah, they like wrote him out. he had to like take care of Vanaheim.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then they kill him off
yeah.
in
I mean,
Ragnarok.
yeah, but I kind of like how he died like a hero's honor, like
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, he
way.
had a little more
Yeah,
um,
I
dignity to it.
yeah,
But
I kind of appreciate that. Um, and then the next three Asgard characters, and these are like the most important ones. I'm kind of happy we went to that order. Let's go to Handel, and I- it's kind of weird we have Handel. Like he's like the most like more developed Asgard character in any of these
right.
characters. Like I'm
Hmm.
surprised about that. I mean, you got Ezra Elba, who's a great actor. I love him, but I'm surprised. What do you think about Handel? Will,
Yeah, I thought Heimdall was all right.
you know, uh,
Yeah, I don't like. I really like the character. I like Idris Elba. Um, but like none of the characters that aren't Loki felt like they had much of an arc in this
yeah,
movie.
yeah,
Um,
um, it, yeah. Like it's weird to have Handel. Like he has a useful power, right?
mhm.
He can see, like he's kind of like a cognition person, right, or something
Yeah, he
like
can
that.
see everyone. He's
Yeah,
omnipotent,
yeah,
basically.
yeah. Right.
Well, yeah,
Well, you know what I'm gonna go there, and the fact that he didn't see the dark elf ship. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
well, you see, it could turn invisible.
well, yeah.
I guess, okay, I guess the way his power works is he has to be like purposely looking for something to see it, and if he thought the Dark
Hmm.
Elves were extinct, he wouldn't know to look for them. But
Yeah. I yeah, and then I mean, I it was set up like this film was a little weird. They set up something that's weird about the Oscar, people. Like they're not gods, and they're just somewhat like high enhanced aliens, basically. And so I
yeah,
like this film is a little weird how they set up their powers and
I guess that was kind of true in the
mm,
first one too,
yeah,
and just like in the comics as well. Like,
yeah. I I don't know. I feel like the comics know it. I just feel like the MCU doesn't know what kind of version they have of Thor. I don't know.
yeah,
I
I think
just
they've settled on advanced aliens,
yeah, and this
but
film
it
basically.
it took a while for them to like really hammer that home. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
yeah. Uh, I mean, do you want to talk about Odin and Frigga? I mean, like,
yeah. Um,
um, but I mean, first off, like, um, uh, how do I start this? Like, I guess Frigga, like, were you surprised she got killed for this film?
I was. Yeah, it was kind of
Okay,
a pleasant surprise. Not because I wanted her to die, just because it felt ballsier than anything else in the movie.
yeah.
Uh,
Um, I mean, it worked for Loki. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Like it really helped his development.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, and this show how, like, Loki was like a mother, like he was more with the mother, and then like Thor was with Odin, right?
yeah,
And so like it was very important. I mean, um, this is Renee Russo, right? And
hmm,
she's in Major League. I just checked her Wikipedia, and then Lethal Weapon 3 and 4. She's great in that as well. Um, and I totally forgot she's in these films, and like I and she was great in this film, and I really love her funeral
yeah. That was a
they
good
have.
scene.
It's amazing, and that's the film that I probably want more of, you know.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it was a beautiful lie. But then anyway, um, and then we got Odin. I mean, Anthony Hopkins is a good actor, but what do you think about his performance in this film? Um,
I mean, it was good. Um, I liked seeing like a softer side of his relationship with Thor.
mm,
Um, but there wasn't as much like for Anthony Hopkins to do as there was in
No.
the first one. Like I really liked their like more contentious relationship in the first movie.
Yeah.
And then I really like in Ragnarok when he's just like a tired old man right before he dies.
He does. Yeah.
So that was really
Um.
well done. I also I don't want to talk about Ragnarok.
No.
Um,
Yeah. It is really tough to talk about that film because it makes this film better and
yeah,
and
I don't want to like
I
move away from talking about this movie to talk about Ragnarok.
yes, exactly.
Um,
And then and WandaVision as well because of Darcy and like
yeah, it's
and
like there's
yeah.
yeah.
It's kind of like Iron Man 2 when like it this film and Iron Man 2 has that same problem, but then when we get more films that kind of tie up some loose ends from those films,
Hmm.
it gets better in
Right.
viewing. And I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
I kind of get
Same thing's kind of happening to Age of Ultron. I
mm,
watched that a couple weeks ago, and
yeah. Me
it
too. I
improved. Yeah.
I saw it twice, and it's better. And I still don't like certain aspects, but like
Yeah.
you know,
There's a lot of questionable stuff in it, but
yeah, but
I now that we know more about like Wanda's backstory, especially,
yes,
um,
yes, that's true. Um,
yeah, just a lot of the characters that felt underdeveloped have more like weight to them now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I mean, Odin again. I feel like Odin is also underdeveloped in these first two films, so you can see like the problem that these films have. Okay, let's kind of wrap these things up and let's kind of discuss quickly. I think this we haven't discussed the one elephant in the room, obviously, and it's the villain, you know. And
Mhm.
another major problem this film also presented, Will, besides the TV um feel, is the worst villain. Like Marvel Studios hasn't produced the best villains. I mean, we have now a couple.
Yeah, there's a
Loki.
handful.
Killmonger and Thanos, Simo, who we're gonna see
Yep.
again, and Hydra and Hela is great, and Vulture, Mysterio. All right, folks, got all that, and then Eagle from Volume Two is great. Okay, Malekith. Oh my God, Malekith.
Yeah,
Uh,
man, you get a great act, you get a great actor like Christopher Eccleston, and then you just waste him.
I know.
Yeah,
I just don't get that.
yeah.
Like,
I
I
he like looked really cool too.
mm,
Like I really
I
liked the way the movie looked, like how all the like Norse mythology stuff looked.
yeah.
Um, and then it just felt like they didn't do anything with it. Um,
No,
or like
I
I don't know. I thought Malekith looked really cool.
mm,
But then because there wasn't anything else, it was just like like that was it. It was very shallow. Um,
I and I mean, like if like well if you like heard the list that I put with the villains, the best ones we have,
mhm.
it like first off, like there was none of character development or like simple things that you should do for a villain that
Yeah,
this film misses.
there was no like backstory or anything. There was
No,
like the opening scene,
yeah,
um, and that's it.
yeah. I mean, the opening doesn't help at all because it feels disconnected to the story they're telling in this film,
Mm.
and like because it's Odin's like grandfather or like father. I'm trying to
Father,
remember, and and
or
it doesn't really connect to what's going to happen in the film, right?
right.
And
Well, I think I I don't know if they explain this enough,
no,
um, but it takes place, or that scene takes place when like I guess Malekith is trying to get the ether, which is the reality stone,
Oh,
to rewrite reality
right.
so it's full of darkness again instead of being light because he's a dark elf,
Yes.
which they don't. I don't think they ever use the word dark. No, they do. Um,
And also say he say like a dark
yeah,
world, like creating,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. He wants to recreate that, but I don't think they like talk about it that much. Um,
Um, I mean, they don't like like, and that's the thing. Like, I think it's good you're mentioning like that. They don't like the whole villain plot is not fully explained or or fully developed in a screenplay way. You know, in a concession way, right?
yeah,
and and like the fact that they introduced like I totally forgot that this is the film that introduced the Infinity Stone.
yeah. They say
You know,
Infinity Stones the first time in the post-credit scene.
yeah, and because you think that Guardians was the first one, but in reality is no pun intended reality, but
Yeah,
uh you
uh,
know
yeah.
the
Guardians
second.
was the where they explained them and then they name dropped them here.
Well, but they also explain it properly and like gave like proper and clear indication of what they are.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I'm sorry. We're just repeating stuff. Like that's the thing is frustrating about this film. It's like they don't explain a lot of these key plot points.
right. Yeah, like if you don't know that it's the reality stone and it can rewrite reality, then you're just like, okay, he wants to make the world dark again. Why does he need the ether? Like,
Yeah,
uh,
um, yeah, and I didn't like it that they gave it to Jane
yeah,
because they were not going to use it. It could have been a cool way to give her powers because she was Thor, during this
right.
time, in 2013. But like she was just a dental stress, and she just like constantly fall when she had, when the ether was activated, and it was like, oh wow, we're doing that. It was just like, wow, yeah. I felt really bad for Chris Eccleston.
Yeah.
It he's one of my favorite actors. He's great. Like my favorite films, 28 Days Later. He's in that, and he's great as a villain there.
Mhm.
That has like pathos and has clear motivation, stuff like
Yeah.
that. And he can also be a very over the top actor, like in G.I. Joe: Rise of Cobra, and
Yeah. Or
like he
Doctor Who.
easily, you know, and
Yeah.
yeah,
But have you ever
yeah.
seen The Leftovers?
No, I need to
Okay.
see that.
Yeah, he's in it, and he's my favorite part of the show.
Oh my god. Oh,
Yeah.
oh my god. Okay. I I need to see that show. I mean, because I like Carrie Coon.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah.
in that show, and I loved her from Fargo season 3.
Okay.
Um, and and she's also in Avengers Infinity War. She voiced Midnight,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
uh, the female Thanos and the Blackwater uh,
Yeah.
member. Um, I guess and you mentioned design quickly to wrap things up. You mentioned you like the design Dark Elf of
Oh,
Malekith.
I liked Malekith's design. I don't like the
Okay,
Dark Elves design.
okay.
They look like goth Teletubbies, and I hate them.
I'm
But
sorry. That's Dark Teletubby Elves.
but Malekith, where you can actually see like his eyes and his face, that was a
Hmm,
good design.
okay. Um, I quickly, I totally disagree with you with that. Personally, for me, it's just I I don't know. Some of the designs in this film are so uninspired. For me,
Yeah.
in my opinion, just for me, it's just some uninspiring. And we haven't mentioned. I don't know. Like, you have any opinion about his henchman? Cursed.
Curse.
Yeah, I mean,
Nah.
because he always like very quickly, like he always got the attention because he felt more threatening than Malekith. Like, and his
Yeah.
design, I felt his design was a little more aspiring than
Hmm.
Malekith, and that was a weird thing. And so that's where I disagree. I feel like, and it was a little lazy to give him the half face, so that he'd be like from the comics, like he has the two face kind of thing, where he had
Right.
blue
Yeah, I think that could have been done
better.
better. I liked that it was like burnt though.
Mm, yeah. Um,
I don't know.
but I don't want people to be confused. Like, wait, he has a half face. He's two face. Yeah. I just felt like they went with the wrong direction with Malekith. Like, he's supposed to be like a darker, trickster version of Loki, right?
Yeah,
In the
like
comics.
um the characterization was off. I just thought that he looked cool.
Mm, yeah.
I think his costume was like very dark, and when you only have him filming scenes that are like in his ship or on Svartalfheim, you can't really see it at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Um,
but
it's just I think the cinematography in this film is kind of like they don't do anything to light up some or certain planet they're
yeah, like I
in.
thought Asgard looked great, and then
Yeah,
everywhere else was really bland.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. The some of the designs of those planets are so uninspiring. It's kind of like fantastic in the Planet Zero theme.
Yeah,
It, it's like, come on, put some effort to it.
yeah. Svartalfheim looks terrible.
Yeah, like it makes
Um,
me appreciate not again. We're not gonna talk too much about Thor Ragnarok, but like um what was the planet he was in? Uh,
oh man,
uh
I'm blanking on it.
oh my god, here, let me go to uh where he go man okay, he goes to S uh Thor crash lesson on
Oh,
Sakar.
Sakaar.
Yeah, Sakar,
Yeah,
thank you. Sakar, that like one place, one planet was full of personality and like details.
yeah. Even though it was literally a dump.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And it was a beautiful dump.
yeah. It
It
was
was
like colorful. It had a lot of
exactly,
like personality. Felt like people lived in it. You know.
exactly. And I and when we get to Thor Ragnarok, I gotta say, like Taka Tahiti, did a really good job of giving personality to Thor, but also the universe he was in, you know.
Yeah, I think Guardians also had a lot to do with that. Like
Yes.
not to take anything away from Taika Waititi because he's
No,
brilliant.
no.
But
Um, yes.
Guardians really like opened up what the cosmic side should look like and like what that aesthetic should be. So I think
Yes.
Taika Waititi was like using that as a springboard.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. You know what? Well, you're totally right. Thank you for bringing Guardians as well. It's like it's really hard to, because like Guardians gets so much praise, and it's like
Hmm.
for me, it's like I just wanted to stick with Thor the franchise. It's just like that one film just did a lot of things better than this film,
Yeah, yeah.
and you're right, and that's also another thing I want to mention quickly is is the Thor films feels like for me out of place sometimes with the MCU and the faces,
Hmm.
and because with these first two they don't like the first one it does connect to the Avengers, but this one completely doesn't connect at all in Age of Ultron and like
Right.
and
It's not until Endgame that there's like any kind of payoff.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when we get to Thor Ragnarok, like there's a clear set of art for Thor in that the next Avengers, Infinity War and Endgame. And it's like here is not, it's just
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just it felt obligatory. Like we have to make this movie before the next Avengers.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay. Is there anything else we have to mention for this film? Um,
Um,
I mean, I think we covered everything. I mean, like, I because I don't want to talk too much about the mid-credit scene. It's there really. It tells you Affinity Stones and it sets up Guardians, but it's such an uninspired mid-credit scene.
yeah,
Uh,
it was really cool like at the time because
yeah,
it was a hint at what Guardians was going to be like.
mm,
But watching it now,
yeah,
it's not that exciting.
no. Um,
Um,
and then the post-credit scene with
yeah, I always forget about that one. I never watch
yeah,
it.
again,
Um,
it's just oh my god, yeah.
yeah,
Well, thank you, Will, for joining me for this discussion. Um,
yeah, thank you.
yeah, it was a fun viewing this time around. I mean, just seeing you know some of the mistakes, but then also some of the good things about Thor and his universe, and and it's kind of interesting to see where his future lays, in Phase 4, and like where he's gonna
Mhm.
go after the fourth Thor,
Yeah,
and it is crazy that he is the only character in the MCU who's gonna get four films, and that's like it's a rare thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
I hope he gets more.
exactly. I want I want Takia to do his trilogy and like
Hmm.
give us a better trilogy than this,
Yeah,
You know? Yeah. Well, folks, thank you for listening to the Marvel Plus talk on Thor: The Dark World. Me and will come back next Sunday for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Are you excited, Will? It's coming next Friday. This Friday coming.
yeah, yeah.
I
It's very soon.
Oh my god, yes, I'm so excited. And I mean, uh, I don't know you've been paying attention to this, but like they've been wrapping the TV spots and everything
Yeah,
during the
I've
show.
been trying not to watch the uh the trailers again.
No,
I
no,
like to go in cold, but
yeah. No, I
yeah,
agree. I haven't seen their like teaser trailer or like their like TV Super Bowl spots. I haven't
hmm,
watched that again, so I've
yeah,
been mostly clearing myself from that to
mm,
be excited for Friday.
yeah,
As always. So we're going to come back on Sunday, folks, to do a podcast on that for his first episode, and then you're gonna have a new set of the Marvel, spoiler talk on the Falcon and Winter Soldier, folks. So thank you so much, you guys, for listening to this podcast, and as always, hit that subscribe button and